Of course, before I even talk about anything, I must talk about the art because that's important. You're looking at my art, and I want you to know what I thought about it. So there's actually a few things. There's 5 pieces in here because I ranted for so long, and the one image that was meant to be just the only image. The speed paint just wasn't long enough. So I added another one in hopes that maybe 2 would be fine, but for some reason the way I draw is I use really long strokes for a lot of my art. So well, the way Clip Studios time lapse works is that it just registers the stroke. So each stroke you do, it registers as to record it. And so you'll see like this long elaborate like line, and it just pops up because I did it all in like one line. So this my speed paints look like I did the art in like an hour, when no, it took quite a long time, but because of the strokes I use, it cuts it so short. But I'll try and be quick with these because it's 5 pieces. But the first piece is 2 wrestlers named MJF, which is on the left, and Takeshita, which is on the right. And I don't know, I get so embarrassed talking about wrestling. I don't know why. Because I feel like it's something that I was never into until now. So I feel like I'm like a fake or a phony. But yeah, I recently got into sometime late December, I think, because my friend Star loves wrestling and they got me hooked on it. So it's just so fun. I love it. I love the blood sport. I love the intricacies of it. But yeah, it was just a match between Takeshita and MJF, and it was a really, really great match. It was awesome. It was fucking beautiful, tragic, amazing. There was blood. But I drew this before I saw it, so I was just really excited because I like MJF a lot, even though he's awful, and I really like Takeshita because he's really pretty and cute. So I was really looking forward to the match. I wanted to do something like a coloring style that was a little bit different from my usual style, like the way I applied the paint. So I wanted it to look kind of more traditional. I wanted it to look like somewhat in the style of Earl Oliver Hearst or like of the Collier covers. And I think I kind of got it. It didn't come out exactly as I wanted, but I really do love the composition of it. I think it's something I never did before. Because I think when it came to the coloring, like the palette, I leaned into more of my comfort palette, which is like warm tones. But I decided to use a black background because I really liked this one cover from the Collier magazines. I thought it was gorgeous. I loved the way the characters stood out against the black background. But I was a little hesitant because I don't use black backgrounds a lot. I very much like using my white light backgrounds and making the characters darker in contrast. So yeah, that was really fun to do, and I think I could have done better, but I do like the way the composition turned out. I feel like it's a much simpler composition because I usually like to pack backgrounds with a bunch of lines and characters because I'm very insecure about my composition sometimes, or most of the time. But this time I think it really worked out because I usually don't trust plain, like a plain black background, but I think for this it worked really well. Even in a small thumbnail, it looks really good to me. Sorry, that's Neil. He probably pooped. But even in a small thumbnail, it looks good to me, which I think is a success. So yeah, I think the more I look at it, the more I like it. So I think this is a pretty good piece, pretty solid. I just hope I captured them well enough because I love drawing people and faces and caricatures. So yeah, a lot of love in this piece. So yeah. Uh, what's next? The next one is more Watcher fan art, which is Jerome and Joel, and colors I love using. But it was a very, very, very easy piece to make. It was one of the easiest things I've drawn. This one is really short for some reason. Like the speed paint is so short for this one. I guess because that's how easy it was. It was like no issue. I love the Watcher. I love these guys. I am working on something actually with these guys. Eee. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. You're just gonna have to check out my Patreon to figure out what it is. Next is Dinky and Danny. You might know Danny from Clown, who Dinky was trying to woo in the Clown animation. Danny belongs to Kitsy Ransom on Twitter. She's a good friend that I met on Discord, and we have there's this whole fun thing on Discord where everyone has like clown OCs, and we decided that Dinky and Danny would like be a campus couple, and it's just really fun just drawing them being all cute and stuff. So yeah, there's actually a little joke that Dinky has like 11,000 girlfriends because I can't have him commit to just one character. So in other universes he has like other girlfriends and stuff. It's so silly because I also see him as like a loser who can't get girls, but whatever. This next one's a fun one. It's me and my girlfriend's clown OCs, and they're both in a band, and well, there's like a one-sided rivalry between the two clowns, mine being Dinky and hers being Marchie. And this specific piece is just like a fun little like, oh, what if Dinky was like a recording in the men's locker room, not recording men in the locker room. He was like doing a film, like a film project that he didn't know people were there. So Marchie would assume that he's a pervert because Marchie thinks very less of Dinky no matter what, and this just happens to be an unfavorable situation for Dinky, which I find funny. But yeah, that's all it is. I know I usually like to work with lighter tones or like more pastel-y, I guess, color palettes. But for this one, I was kind of fresh from working on the AEW piece, and I'm like, why don't I try the dark background again? Because I thought that would be really, really fun. Because initially I went with a much lighter color palette, but I decided to go a little darker, more contrasty, and I really like how it came out. I think it was really cool. I like the plum color scheme that I came up with, and yeah, I think in a way this piece sort of leveled me up a little bit, like color wise. The only problem I have with it is that I don't know what the fuck happened with Dinky's like left hand. It like looks like an AI did it for some reason. It's very wonky and weird. But you know, what can you do? Sometimes you just take the good and the bad. But yeah. Anyway, there's that piece. Now for the last piece. Lastly is the Wednesday drawing. I really like this a lot. I love it actually. I love the flow of her dress. I especially like the kick of that her foot and how the dress like wraps around it. I'm so obsessed with that. Like I think it's pretty obvious, but I really, really love fashion illustration and drawing clothes, and I love it so much. So this was like me just going all in on my love for fashion illustration. But yeah, I think I captured her face pretty well too. So I think it kind of looks like Jenna Ortega, kind of. But the only thing I'm disappointed in is the background. I feel like I could have done a lot better. But I think I just kind of I just didn't know what to do. I don't know. Sometimes the background just doesn't come to you. And my problem was, instead of leaving it for a day to just sit and cook and then figure out the background the next day, I just did it all in one sitting, which is not always good. Like in the AEW piece, I kind of let it sit for a few days before I got back to it. And I'm so glad I did, because I feel like I wouldn't have come up with such a nice composition if I just burned through it, you know? And I feel like I had it. This was before I kind of learned that lesson, you know? But yeah, It's not so bad though. I do still like it a lot. But yeah, this is also a poll winner for a poll I did on Patreon. So hey, check that out. You can, if you want, to have a chance of your character drawn, you can join my Patreon. Because every now and then I do a poll, not every month, but I'd like to do a poll every month. Anyway, sorry this was 10 minutes, but it's like 5 drawings. I'm not gonna cut any corners, but yeah. Without further ado, heed my disclaimer. Okay, quick disclaimer, and I mean quick because this video is already 10 minutes long because of the fucking art talk. But basically we're talking about artists and commission prices and being respected for those commission prices. So when it comes to artists and being respected for their craft, I am gonna be an ass. I'm gonna be a giant cock and balls. I'm not gonna be nice. I'm gonna be very mean again. So if you don't want to hear me be mean, do not click forward, go back. But when it comes to the integrity of artists, I feel like we have to be meaner and stand up for ourselves a lot stronger. I don't know, we have to be tougher, I think, because we are talking to people who do not have empathy for us. So it's like, instead of like feel bad for me, it should be, no, you should respect me because I'm a fucking person and I'm working my ass off, and you have the gall to be a bitch. Anyway, yeah, that's basically it. It's just me being an ass. But yeah, I'm also still congested. I think I took medication and I'm still fucking congested. I don't know. So if you hear me like sound like silly, it's because I'm still congested, sort of. I think I'm allergic to my house, but whatever. Anyway, enjoy the video. So yesterday, as of today, I don't know when I'm posting this, but yesterday I posted a TikTok where I was just showing what you can get for $50 in a commission versus $200 in a commission. And the point was that you don't get anything for $50 because I don't do commissions for $50, but you can get something really nice and worth your time for $200. So I posted it on TikTok and I expected like meaner responses, but majority of the people were very, very understanding. Some of them also thought I made it on Paint because I had the program open in it. It was open in the program, but it's like, that's just what I use as like a place to put my art when I make TikToks. I don't make elaborate pieces on Paint, but I decided to post it on YouTube because I want to post more on YouTube. And I did not get the same positive feedback. In fact, people came into my house from youtube.com and they took me outside and they took turns pouring hot wax on me. They beat me up, they threw me in the ocean and tied cinder blocks on my feet so I wouldn't swim back up. It was brutal. It was diabolical even. Pandemonium even. It was only like 40 comments, but to me, I'm not a big YouTube guy. I don't get 40 comments usually. So it was a lot to me, but the reactions were so negative. It's like people could not fathom a commission being more than $50. Like, and some of the comments were ranged from just rude to strange. Like, a really rude one was someone that just said, oh, the art looks good, but $200 isn't. The art looks good, but $200 is like too much. Like $50 would be fine, but anything more than that would be a scam, which I'm like, wow, that's like, you got the nerve to just say that on someone's page in their house. But then I looked closely at the icon and it was a Roblox icon. So I'm like, all right, some of you guys are like literal babies on here. So I'm like, okay, that explains the rudeness and the lack of understanding. But some people, I feel like were grown people because some were just trying to teach me about I don't know, supply and demand or whatever, and just saying like, oh well, you can't charge that much because that's not sustainable enough, and But I think the funniest comment, my favorite, was average gay white boy selling a Microsoft Paint drawing for $200. I don't know what that means. I don't know why they said that, but I thought that was really funny. And I think this is also a Roblox icon, is it? I don't know. But I pinned it because it made me laugh. So, but the fact that people felt comfortable enough to just tell me that my art is basically worthless or not worth $200, or that I don't deserve it, or that what I'm charging isn't sustainable and I should get a real job, like all these things. The fact that people just said, all they saw was that I charged $200, and that's what caused them to be like, absolutely not. You can't have that. It just, I don't know, the fact that they could not comprehend that art could be something you can live off of if you charge at least a living wage. The fact that they couldn't comprehend why someone would charge that much, or how anyone could make a living off of their art, tells me that people have no fucking clue how art works, or how art is even made, or what it takes to create art. And I feel like the AI stuff was already proof enough that people are just so stupid when it comes to art. I'm sorry. I did say I was gonna be mean in this video. You know why I'm gonna be mean again? Because people don't respect artists already. They already see us as like 8th class citizens. Like, they do not think that we deserve to eat for some reason. They do not like artists. They don't understand artists. They don't like us. So I don't see a reason to be like, oh, please look at me. I am a person just like you. I am starving. I am poor. I don't have money. Please, my leg hurts today. Please look at me. Help me. Like, you know, like, they don't care about that. And it sucks. It sucks that they don't care. But I feel like for me, it's a waste of time to try and get empathy from people who do not have it for us. So fuck those guys. I'm charging this much because I deserve to fucking eat. All right? If you can't afford it, that's not my problem. But yeah, people do not understand what goes into making art. The act of creating takes so much mental energy. It's not even fucking funny. It takes so much mental energy. You're not just creating images from your brain to the screen or the paper and that's it. Yippee. Like, you, especially when it comes to commissions, you're sitting down, you're doing research, hours of research, you're doing sketching, hours of sketching, you're going back and forth with your client, depending on your client. You have to learn how to draw the person or thing that your client wants you to draw. You have to erase mistakes, you have to fix things. There are times where I literally spend hours just erasing and fixing mistakes rather than progressing on a piece. Sometimes I have to step away from a piece because I get so frustrated because it didn't come out how I wanted it to come out. Like, I'm not just sitting there with a dick in my hand and depending on another and just fucking and not thinking about what I'm making because everything's just coming out perfect. Like, no. I will admit, sometimes I do have my dick in my hand and I am just having a fucking grand old time, and sometimes it does come easy. But that's the reward for working hard. You know, that's the reward for sticking to your guns. Sometimes you work hard enough and you get days where you're like, oh, blessings. The art piece is coming out exactly as I imagined. But those times are few and far in between. A lot of the times I have to tell myself to not care so much so I can progress on a piece, or so I could actually finish something, you know. I think one of the best analogies I could use for like the art process is math or algebra. If you remember back in 8th grade or whatever, when you had to do a problem and your brain hurt so bad because it was so much thinking, so much formulas you had to remember and yada yada yada. That is what making art is like. It can be very taxing on the brain. Much like math, you have to do color math or line math or sketch math. Like, these are just to say it's a similar process. You're trying, it's trial and error until you finally get a result you like. It's that simple, man. But apparently that's too hard for people to understand, because I literally why is that word hard to say? I literally got a comment that said, it's better to make 5 pieces a day for $50 than 1 piece for $200 a week. How do you make such a brain dead conclusion? I am sorry, but that is a brain dead conclusion. Who in what world is able to do 5 pieces, full-blown pieces a day? Also, doing the math, that is $250. That is $40 more than what I had made making 1 piece. That's it. Also, you're not doing 5 pieces a day. If anything, here's the reality. You'll charge $50 for full-blown pieces. You're probably doing 1 piece a day, or 1 piece a week, depending. So you're making so much more less and working more for less. That's not what we want. That's not what I want, and that's why I charge what I charge. But apparently, what I charge is not sustainable, or that according to guy number 85, that's not sustainable. You need a steady job. I love that word. Steady job. Reliable job. Because if you really think about it, is there really a steady job? Does that even exist? Especially in America. The truth is, no job is guaranteed. Even the job you've had for 10 years is not guaranteed, because at any moment your boss can say, sorry chump, we can't afford the crew we used to have, so we're picking you to get fired. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal, kid. We gotta cut costs, and you were just the name we drew in the hat. Like that happens a lot of times. You have seniors that have been working for decades getting fired for no reason but because they don't want to pay another employee. You can literally get fired from your job for just telling a shitty, mean customer to shut the fuck up. You can get fired for not being fashionable enough. That's what happened to me. I guess I wore the wrong sweater too many times, and they decided that was the last straw, and they fired me.
Death to all of them.
How in the world is that reliable, steady, or sustainable? So if weekly payment jobs or bi-weekly payment jobs, as most of my jobs were, are not even reliable, then what leg do you have to stand on to fucking tell artists that their jobs are not sustainable and that they should get real jobs? Your real job doesn't even fucking guarantee you a healthy and stable income. And it's so weird to me, because it's like, on one hand, this doesn't make enough money, you're gonna starve. And then on another hand, when we do charge enough, it's you're being greedy. You're not charging a realistic amount or whatever. It's so fucking weird. Like, which one is it? Do you want artists to make money, or do you not want us to make money? Well, I think one of my biggest grievances about commissions and art as a job and a career, one of my biggest issues is that we mess it up for each other. Like artists, us artists fuck it up for everyone else, because we love to fucking undercharge ourselves. I understand that sometimes you're like, I need to make some kind of money, some kind of livable wage or income. But if you're not even charging livable wage or income, how are you surviving? And when artists undercharge like that, or they undercut each other, that is what perpetuates the people, the attitudes, the bitter attitudes, the mean attitudes, when people see artists charging more than $100 or $200 or $500, because they see prices like mine and they say, well, why should I pay $200 when I can go next door to Dweebus, who charges the same thing for $50? That is a problem, and that hurts. I think that hurts us the most, is that we do it to each other. Like, I saw a comment that said that someone said that they charged $3. And I asked, I said, I hope that's an exaggeration. And they said, no. I, for realsies, charged $3.
God damn it! You're killing me!
And I mean this with so much kindness. But what the fuck are you getting with $3? What are you doing for $3? Are you buying candy with that money? Like, that is not even sustainable for a 15-year-old, you know? You have to stop undercharging. Again, it helps no one. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't help me or anyone else. You have to charge more because your art is worth more. I know some people will say your style isn't good enough to charge more than $10. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You know why? Because shit like corporate Memphis is in magazines and stuff. I've seen art by people who look like they have no idea what a hand looks like or what a real human being looks like, but they get paid. Some of these people get paid livable wage because someone sees something in their art that they like, and someone will see something in your art that they like. Back in the old 80s, when people commissioned Keith Haring for art pieces, they weren't paying for him to do the most anatomically correct, gorgeous, amazingly detailed pieces ever. They were paying for his style, for his hand. They were willing to pay thousands of dollars because Keith Haring made this. This was made by him. That's the value in his work. It's not because he paints like Leonardo da Vinci or draws like, I don't know, a god. You know, his style was very almost rudimentary looking, but it was his style, and I love his stuff as well. I think his stuff is great, and I see what other people saw in it. So don't devalue your work. Work on your art, work on your style, do what you like to do, and charge what you're worth, because people will pay for it. And I'm gonna look you in the eye right now. Look at me. I'm looking at you. Starting today, if your prices are less than $60, rearrange those prices. Start charging $60 minimum, at least for portraits. Start now. Give it a year, see how it goes. And I know you can do it because most likely you're probably already working a job, already supplementing that income. You can afford to charge at least $60 for a portrait. Not a full body, not a big detailed piece, a simple, dimple portrait. You know, just try it, because I feel like if every artist charged $60 for a portrait, if every artist said we are not charging below $60, I feel like the attitudes towards art and artists would improve significantly. I do believe that with my whole honest balls and dick and heart. I completely believe that. And I know 60 isn't really significantly a lot, but I feel like people are too scared to charge more than like 50 alone. And for me, when I started charging $60, that's when for portraits, something that I can do and that's easier, I felt like something changed, and I felt like I think I can do this. I think I can make money doing this. So please, portraits, $60, do it now. And last but not least, I want to talk about the stupidest shit, the stupidest argument that I hear when it comes to artists pricing their work. And it's people with this access issue. You are limiting access to art to only the 1%. Someone literally left a comment saying that you're making art for the 1%. Where do I begin with that nonsense? It's like, firstly, I wish all my clients were millionaires, because then everyone would have money, and then I would have money, and that would be awesome. And if you think about it, once upon a time, artists did make their living by being a freak in some millionaire's house painting weird portraits of them. Like, that is how they would make their living. And I just hate this fucking pseudo class consciousness shit. Like, oh, the 1%. Oh, so you're just making art for rich people? You wouldn't know class consciousness if it bit you in the ass. Enough with this shit. You don't know shit about what you're talking about. Because the reality is, and I know you probably hear this a lot from artists, but art is a luxury. You know, every time I look back at this in editing, I'm always floored by the Peter Griffin art. I don't know why I drew him, but it just kills me every time. Art specifically curated for your liking, to your liking, is a luxury. You don't need that. If you're sick and it's terminal, me drawing your furry cop OC is not going to improve your condition. You will die regardless of that. It's not going to improve anything. It's not going to extend your lifespan. You're going to die. All right. This is not healthcare. This ain't education. It's just art made specifically to cater to you. That is a luxury. You are not owed that. That is not something that you deserve for being alive. Like, if you want someone to take their time, to take hours of their day to make something specifically for you, you pay the price for that. I don't know why this is rocket science, why this is harder for people to fucking comprehend. I don't know why, but it's so annoying at this point that artists have to constantly explain over and over and over and over again why their things are priced the way they are. There are no gates being kept, no walls being put up, because guess what? I am busting my ass making art and posting videos for free $99 for you to access. You have 24/7 access to my art that I've already posted on multiple platforms. You can see that whenever you want. There's no paywall between my art and you. You can see it. But if you want me to take time out of my day to draw you anime girl number 57, you better fucking pay up. That's all I'm asking for. So with that, I say no. I am not going to lower my price. I am not going to take financial advice from a Roblox icon, and I am not going to listen to people who wouldn't even pay $12 for a doodle from me. And you shouldn't either. You should not lower your prices so abysmally to the point where it is just insulting to you and your craft. I understand times can be hard. Sometimes you really need money. But please, stop doing $13 commissions. Stop doing $20 commissions. You are not helping yourself and you're not helping anyone else. And please believe me that you are worth so much more than you charge right now. Believe it or not, once upon a time, art used to be a sustainable job. It used to be something that could help you pay for groceries, for rent. We can have that happen again. We can, but we cannot if we are still listening to bozos who don't know shit about squat about art. Listen to each other, raise your prices, have options that people can afford. For me, I do have an affordable option. It's $90 for a portrait. And if you're rolling your eyes and be like, $90 for a portrait, you can fucking shove it. You can shove it and you can get the fuck out, because that is an affordable price. I do $90 portraits. There are fees if you want extra stuff, because that's how it is. But I at least have an option that I know that most people, everyday people, will be able to save up. I have that option for that. So if you can have an affordable option that is good for you and for your customers and clients, and start from there. And if you're still thinking, but I can't get commissions if I don't charge $10 for full bodies, I'm going to ask you an honest question. Is it worth slaving over 15 commissions a month? Is it worth losing so much of your time, your energy, your passion? Is it worth doing free revisions over and over and over again for a paycheck that can't even pay a bill? Is it really worth it for that $10? If you answered no to all of that, then it's time. It's time to raise your prices. But if you really think that you cannot get any customers at all, unless you severely undercharge yourself, I say this with complete respect and kindness. Stop doing commissions. for your own health, for your fellow artists, stop doing commissions. Because if you're charging $50 for full-blown paintings, for full bodies, for things that will take you days, hours, maybe weeks or months normally, if you're doing these things, if you're crunching and doing these things for $50, $10, $20, you need to stop, because this is not the professional field for you if you're not going to take it seriously. This is people's livelihood. People depend on commissions for rent, for food, for medical bills. They depend on this stuff. It is a livelihood. It is a job, and you should treat it as such. If you're not ready to do that, do not do commissions. You are not ready for commissions. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be patronizing or anything. I truly mean it. You should not do commissions, because the undercharging is hurting artists so bad. It is hurting us so bad right now. And I get it. Sometimes you're in a pinch. Sometimes you're like, I just need to make $100 within the next month. That's all I need. I need this to pay something really quick. But to buy my phone, I did $12 commissions. It was $12, and then it was like $12, and then the more people paid, the more detail I added. So, and these were simple MS Paint doodle commissions. These were things that did not take me more than probably 40 minutes to make. Things that I know I could just whip out, butt easy, not think about it. And I needed the money in a very short amount of time. And I knew that I couldn't just get a $90 portrait commission in that short amount of time. So that helped. You know, sometimes I'll do that. If I'm really short and I need money very quickly, I'll do that. You can do that too. But do not charge $12 for a full-blown piece. Don't do that, please. You have to work in a way that benefits you. And again, I'm not telling you to start charging $500 off the bat. But we cannot be breaking our backs for pennies, you know? We can't grind for $10, you know what I mean? So please, once again, charge more, raise your prices, stick to your guns. If you need cheaper alternatives that will not kill you, do it. But take this seriously. Take it seriously. Think of it as the job that it is. It is a job, and I do think if we just stick together and start raising our prices, that it will have a positive impact on the art community and how people see artists and how seriously they take us. And if you're watching this and you're like, oh no, I charged, I've been undercharging severely, I'm not gonna send the goons after you. I'm not gonna beat you up for it. Like, I used to do the same thing. I literally would charge as low as $5 for commissions. So I was there. I get it. But the difference is I didn't have anyone telling me that I was undercharging or that I deserved more. We didn't have videos like this back in my day when I started commissions. So yeah, that's all I have to say for today. You can take my advice, you cannot take it and tell me to shove it. I don't care, but that's something I just had to talk about. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you later. Bye. Big thank you to my patrons: Jules, Star, Leds, KMM, Mito Pancake, Milady, Sproutlet, Aisia, Mandy, McMarthy, Fred by Dawn, Pero, Lexi, Ragna, Lil Meg, Ali Paperbag, Florence, Snooka Snurk, Bromibs, FedEx Candy, Jace, Mossman, Lyanne, Hollow Leaves, Worthy Kids, Rivy, The Owl Stars, Ice Wyatt, Clown Snot, May, Skoan Stotas, Dianara S. I'm sounding more congested. Lunchworms, Nostalgic Sneeze, Paige, Renee, Melody, Pogo Stick, Elisha Harris, Boopadoop, Is, Example Text 88, Kalua Killjoy, and Ashes for Days. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you so much for choosing to subscribe to my Patreon. My Patreon consists of many unseen yet drawings, sometimes animations or videos. I also like to sometimes every now and then would like to do it monthly, but do character polls where you can vote on characters that you'd like to see me draw. You also get a chance to pitch in your favorite character. These are all available on my Patreon, so if you want to have a chance to see me draw your favorite guy, or if you just want to catch up to all the art that I haven't posted yet, and there's a lot of it, come check out my Patreon, and I'll see you next time on my next video. It's raining a lot right now. Bye.